Hosein, you were mentioning about the dream by Nabi Ibrahim before the Azan. Could you elaborate more on that?
The dream of Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam, in which he saw that he must sacrifice his son. And I say to you that Allah never intended, never intended that Ibrahim alayhi salam should actually sacrifice his son. Never. This dream conveyed a message symbolically and was not to be understood literally. And so before he could sacrifice his son, Allah said, "You already fulfilled the vision." Okay? What is the symbolic meaning of the dream? The symbolic meaning of the dream was conveyed to us by Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, that there would be a sacrifice of the seed of Ismail alayhi salam, namely the Arabs. The Arabs are going to be sacrificed in history as a part of the divine plan. Who is going to sacrifice them? Nabi Muhammad was asleep, and in his dream he saw something terrible. And he woke up, and his face was flushed red. His hadith is in Sahih Bukhari 8 times. And he said, "Waylul lil-Arab min sharrin qad iqtaraba." Woe unto the Arabs. Woe unto the Arabs, because of a great evil which is now come upon them. And then he raised his hands like this, and he made a circle, and he said, "Today a hole has been made in the barrier with Zulkarnain." And so Gog and Magog are going to be released in the world. When Gog and Magog are released into the world, then eventually the sacrifice of the Arabs will take place. That is what the Arabs are now experiencing at this moment. This is the fulfillment of that dream of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Any other questions? He said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that a time will come when nothing will remain of Islam but the name. And then he went on to point out who are the ones who will be mainly responsible for that collapse, namely the religious scholars of Islam. But he also went on to tell us information to the effect that Islam will once again triumph in the world. Okay? At the time when Imam al-Mahdi is raised, at the time when Nabi Isa alayhi salam returns, the truth will triumph in the world for the last time. هو الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله. That the truth will triumph over all its rivals at that time when Imam al-Mahdi is raised and Nabi Isa alayhi salam returns. At that time, he said, a Muslim army will come out of Khorasan. And he said, when you see the black flags coming from the direction of Khorasan, go and join that army, even if you have to crawl over ice. Meaning, even if you have to disregard and disobey the Security Council of the United Nations. Disregard and disobey any government and every government, including your own government. Because you follow this man, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is your leader. even if you have to crawl over ice, because no one will be able to stop that army until it reaches Jerusalem, indicating that the return of Islam will come through this army, which when it liberates the territory of Khorasan, of which Afghanistan is the heart, it will not stop there. It will proceed to liberate every other territory in a straight line up to Jerusalem. Those who today control the world, the Gog and Magog world order, will be destroyed by Allah Ta'ala through disease. About those Muslims, this is what the Prophet said. He said that my ummah is like rain. My ummah is like the rain. I do not know which shower is better, the first or the last. So the last Muslims, the ones who will join our army, the ones who will fight to liberate our territory from occupation and oppression, that army and those Muslims who support that army would have a status that will be so high that the Prophet says, I do not know which shower is better, the first or the last. But you could get this subject in more detail in my lecture entitled Imam al-Mahdi and the Return of the Islamic Caliphate. You have it outside. In fact, about 18 lectures that I delivered in Trinidad, I brought them with me. We got a nice label for them, and we have them outside as DVDs. I'm not allowed to mention any price in the masjid, but they're very, very reasonable. And you can get the entire 18 lectures outside, one of which is Imam al-Mahdi and the Return of the Islamic Caliphate. The Prophet ﷺ said, by him in whose hand is my life, I swear to you that the Son of Mary will shortly descend amongst you, and he will break the cross, and he will kill the swine, the pigs, and he will abolish jizya. He said, how would you be at that time when the Son of Mary descends amongst you and your Imam will be from within your ranks? All of these, I've given you two examples, all of these are hadiths plus many verses of the Quran confirm that Nabi Isa alayhi salam never experienced something called maut. Not wafat, maut. Maut. And Allah says, Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut. Every soul must taste maut. And he never experienced maut. And so it is a literal return. He will return literally.